listening to Broncos This Week, presented by Original 16, the official beer of the Swift Current Broncos.
It's the Broncos This Week podcast presented by Original 16, and we have a special Christmas episode for you this week. Ryan Switzer is with me as well, and we'll introduce our other guests here shortly. What are we doing this week, Ryan?
Well, this is going to be a fun one. This is the all-time Swift Current Bronco draft. I don't want to take credit because this was 100% your idea, but there's four of us here. We got your color guy on the radio broadcast, Clint Weston, Big Gull Lake guy.
Thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate the invite to come here and dominate this draft.
Yeah,
Wow.
And we got a little hockey ops flavor as well from the hockey ops department. We got Adam Filmon joining us. What's your official title? It's a long one that I always forget.
I think it's Senior Manager of Business Operations, Hockey Analytics, and you can add a little video coach in there these days now, too. So it's growing on us here.
Wears numerous hats.
Yeah, this guy's a multitasker here. So basically, you set out the ground rules.
Yep.
We're drafting our all-time Swift Current Bronco team.
Correct.
We're drafting 3 forwards, 2 defensemen, a goalie, and a coach as well.
Yes, and then the other rule that comes with this is one player on your team must be active on the Broncos roster. IR guys will count, but they have to be currently on the Broncos roster. One of your spots has to be that, and it's from the current incarnation of the Broncos. So 86, 87, and onwards is the class of players that we are drafting here.
That's BS. I wanted Tiger Williams.
Hey, it would make it a little different.
I got you.
Maybe eventually we'll do an eras draft. Maybe.
Well, I think this one will go well, so maybe we can grow it next year to include the 60s and 70s.
Yeah, add in another person or two. We'll see. But
so you last night randomized the draft order. It's going to be snake style, so it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on and so forth.
You betcha. So first overall pick is the Adam Filmon pick. He will get the first overall selection. I will get selection number 2. Swites will get selection number 3, and Clint will get the 4th selection and the come around. So the 4th selection, you may think it's not good, but some would say otherwise in a fantasy football draft, having the back and forth.
Well, I already put in a protest to the league already for the draft. I think there was some suspicion there, but hey, I'll take number 4 and I'll dominate.
Yeah. There was videos.
You're feeling good about the 4th?
I do because it's a snake style, so I'll go 4th and 5th, and I feel great about it because I honestly feel I've got some picks here.
Okay.
Well, first overall pick, as you mentioned, is Adam Filmon. Yep. I have a pretty good idea where one might go with the first overall pick. All-time greatest, basically all-time greatest Bronco from 86 on, according to you.
Well, I think this would be a unanimous selection here. I don't think I'm going off the board with this one. He's a phenomenal player. He was awesome for the Swift Current Broncos, although, he wasn't here very long because he had such a successful NHL career. He's also known as Burnaby Joe in some circles. I will take Joe Sakic first overall.
Easy. All-time points per game leader and so many other accolades for Joe Sakic. He's the first overall pick.
What a privilege it was to watch him play back in the day, too. Growing up watching Joe Sakic.
That
very
leaves
privileged.
The next pick to myself, and I would be remiss if I didn't take the team's all-time leading point getter across all platforms. Give me Todd Holt.
Wow, Holty.
Team's all-time leading scorer. I mean, when you can get the team's all-time leading scorer, I think that's,
Well, I didn't think I would get this guy at number 3.
Okay.
Because when you think about the all-time greatest Swift Current Bronco, obviously Joe Sakic is the first name that comes to mind. I believe in my heart of hearts that this is number 2. With all due respect to Holty, who you just picked, I'm going to take member of the Swift Current Broncos from 1986 to 1990. Number 3 from St. Malo, Manitoba, defenseman Dan Lambert.
Okay. First defenseman off the board as well, we'll say. Yeah.
He was a special player. Team co-captain of the 1989 Memorial Cup team, and helped pave the way for that 93 team. He was he was one of the elder guys on the team the next year and set the culture. So all-time greatest Swift Current Bronco, Danny Lambert. That's my honest belief in my heart of hearts.
Yeah, and that's a great pick, Swites. That's who I had on the top of my list for the same reasons, and I think you and I are from the same generation, so we get it, and we'll probably have a lot of battles with that 89 to 93 group.
Yeah, you and I foresee that. Yeah, sorry to take Lambert off the board for you, man, but we're in it to win it here, bro.
Well, I hear you, and I think at fourth here, I might just go right off the board a little bit to start because there's a lot of good guys here, but I think I'll take my current roster guy.
Wow.
Right off the bat. And because I didn't like that Adam Filmon got first place, I'm going to take Josh so I can beat him with this guy. I'm going to take Josh Filmon to start.
That is an off-the-board pick.
I thought I was going to get him with my second pick.
You are not getting him. He will beat you.
Wow.
Your brother will go down.
That is.
But I like the strategy because you get the next pick, too.
Definitely.
You're 4 and 5, so.
I will say we will have to get Josh on the podcast here in the new year and get his thoughts on Clint taking him first and Adam not using,
You know what? I think he'll understand that I took a Hall of Famer over him.
That's fair. That's fair.
Wow, I think that's going to go hard over Christmas here.
Yeah, we'll see.
Adam, I don't think this is going to sit well.
You know what? I think Josh will be okay. My mom might never forgive me.
Well, I guess with my fifth pick here, I'm going to take somebody off the board here a little bit too that didn't win a championship. Most of the guys I wanted to pick did win. But I'm going to take Sergei Varlamov.
Wow.
Okay.
And CHL Player of the Year.
Definitely.
Yep.
And
I have him pretty high on my list.
And watched Sergei Ryan, and I got to watch him a lot. And he was a talented guy on teams that didn't win, but he was definitely a winner and went on to a great hockey career. But he was one of the most skilled guys I watched as a Bronco.
Nice. Wow, that's a. I like that pick. Going European with that one.
I guess I'm up.
That would make Switzer the next selection in this draft. Yes.
Ooh, well, this is a tough one. I mean, so many great players to choose from over the years, but I'm going to take a guy. If you remember the 1993 championship team, you could say that this guy was perhaps the straw that stirred the drink offensively for that squad. So I'm going to take Andy Schneider. I'm
Switey.
Breaking your heart?
That was my next pick, but take Schneider. He's a great pick.
Playoff MVP. Yeah,
and maybe the best set of hands that this organization has ever seen. Great playmaker, silky smooth. So we'll take Schneider.
So that means I have the next pick here, and we're going with guys who have been huge pieces to championship teams. Thought I might as well go there as well, and I'm going with probably outside of Josh Filmon, the most recent player of that set, and I'm going to take Glenn Godden,
who is also off the board,
who is also playoff MVP, 2-year captain, all sorts of fantastic accolades with Glenn Godden. So
and also we're going to post these online and let fans discuss it and vote on theirs. So that's going to be a crowd pleaser.
It is going to be. That's strategy. You have to think about both, right? So.
Well, the nice part about Glenn Godden, too, is he was a Bronco for a long time. He put in his time here and won a championship. Was a big part of the team. Great pick. Great pick.
The guy who drove the bus on that team for sure.
Adam.
It is my
It's been a while since you've picked.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
You got back-to-backs here, though.
I do. First, we're going to go with a player who I believe is second all-time Swift Current Broncos points per game, just under 2. So with this pick, I will have both number 1 and 2 in Swift Current Broncos history in points per game, just so we're clear for the listeners.
Okay.
I believe he was on the 93 team that won. Jason Krawalik, and I apologize if I pronounced that poorly.
Jason Krywalak, yep.
Krywalak, okay.
There you go. WHL Player of the Year.
WHL Player of the Year, incredibly talented scorer. I'm very happy to get him with this pick.
There you go.
Forwards
are going heavy in the first couple of rounds here in this draft.
Heavy forwards.
Swites is the only one with a defenseman. Everyone except Clint needs an active player still. Nobody's taken a goalie quite yet, and the coaches are still on the board as well.
Wow, that's a lot there. I'm going back to the forward group.
Okay.
Dipping right back into it. Incredibly talented passer, maybe the best one in Swift Current Broncos history here. I'm going to go with Alexei Heponiemi.
Heppo. That's a great pick.
So I feel very confident about my forward group. We would score a lot. So
love that pick.
Yeah.
That leaves it to me. I'm kind of doing double duty here. I'm logging the picks so I don't forget. So bear with us. This is where things get interesting, I think, with this draft, because I think we're getting into a stretch where there's a ton of really good players that played huge pieces on these teams, but I'm going to take my goaltender.
Ooh.
I'm going to take the goaltender that has is the only Bronco netminder in history to play over 150 games, 4 straight 20-win seasons. He was Humanitarian of the Year, which I think that's, solid, and the most shutouts in Broncos history. Give me Kyle Moyer, I believe.
Great pick.
That's how it's pronounced.
Kyle Moyer got this organization through some tough times. That mid-2000s, absolute workhorse of a guy, great positional goaltender, big in the net, and yeah.
And you say when he was through some tough times, he still had a 908 save, which is excellent. He won 90 games like that.
We had some 20-win seasons on teams that I would say maybe shouldn't have won 20 games.
There you go.
He stole some games. That's a good pick, Matt. I'm up next.
It's bold of me to go goalie that early, but this isn't a fantasy draft. This is a building the best team draft.
Well, it looks like I'm building my crew blue line out. Happy to have Dan Lambert, and I'm going to pair him with a fellow Manitoba-born defenseman, and taking number 27 from the current Swift Current Broncos, Owen Pickering.
Okay. Wow. There's your active. Yep.
Owen Pickering and Dan Lambert, D pair.
Could you imagine?
I'll take it.
I think that's a great
pick
because I think when it all is said and done with Owen's career, he's probably going to go down as a top 10 Bronco defenseman of all time. He may already be there. So I think that's a fantastic pick to go with your active player because maybe in 10 years when this draft is redone, maybe he might be picked again, I think. That's a solid pick.
Oh,
Smart
NHL
pick.
first rounder?
Yep.
So, feeling good about my D. Love my blue line.
Yeah, good pick. Good pick, Swites.
Love it. Okay, so that makes Clint, you have next pick there, sir.
Yeah, and I got to fill a D spot here. I think I'm going to go back a little ways, and I'm going to go with Bob Wilkie.
Oh,
okay.
Nice.
Another 89er, Switzer, remember.
Assisted on the Memorial Cup winning goal.
Yes, sir.
There you go.
And that's going to be my D pick to start.
Okay.
And put up a lot of points and was a big body at the time. Like, guys weren't as big, and he was a big 6'2" body, and he could control the end and control guys and police the ice well. So I'll pick Bob Wilkie.
Okay. So that's 3 rounds done. Clint has the turnaround here, and then Swites is up afterwards. And Swites is full-on defenseman, needs 2 more forwards and a goalie.
Yes.
And Clint needs another forward, another defenseman, and his goalie as well.
Well, I'm going to take my forward here. Okay. And it was a tough one. Like, I actually had a couple guys left that I really wanted. But I'm going to take Adam Laurie.
Okay, Adam Laurie. All right, there you go.
And I liked Adam was just a strong, no BS player for this team, still is. 6'4", 6'5", something like that. Like, just a big man. But I'd heard so many good things off the ice and in the dressing room about him. But for a guy who didn't win any, a big championship with this team, he drove the bus also, like Swites will say, and he was a big part of this team. So I'm going to go with Adam Laurie.
He's going to center 2 fantastic goal scorers, so he's going to rack up the assists in this tournament, I guess you could say. Swites, where are you going with your next pick there, young man?
Well, I wanted to go with Adam Lowry, but that's not going to happen now. So am I on the clock? How much time do I got here?
You are on the clock here, and
I'm going to have to dip into Plan B here. Gosh, I was really looking forward to taking Todd Holt somewhere.
Adam's looking at the puck wall that is currently in the studio here, trying to get a few ideas.
Well, you know what? This organization almost has a history of riches offensively.
It does, yeah.
So you know what? There's still plenty to choose from. You know what? I already got one of the captains of the 1989 Memorial Cup winning team. I'm going to take the other co-captain in Sheldon Kennedy. 1.81 points per game over his Swift Current Bronco career. Was the man who first hoisted the Memorial Cup in Saskatoon when we won it. So Shelly's going to be up front with Andy Schneider.
That's solid. Now it comes to me, and I feel like I need to go defenseman here. So I am going to go with the I've got 2 that I want to go with here, and I think I'll be able to get both of them eventually. But I'm going to go with one of the all-time leaders in defenseman scoring in Bronco history. He's 3rd all-time. Ian White will be my pick on defense here.
Well, that's really unfortunate.
Unfortunate for me or unfortunate for you?
For myself, that was my next pick. Yeah,
okay.
Great job, great look. I have to go back to the drawing board here.
Oh boy, we are stealing. This is how this draft was expected to go, stealing each other's picks.
Well, I'm impressed. I think Ryan and I have gone toe-to-toe here with a lot of the older
you guys
generation.
have.
You guys have been picking up the newer generation here. So I've got a few up my sleeve, though, here. So.
Okay.
Yep.
Adam's got back-to-backs here, needs 2 defensemen, a goalie, and his coach still.
Well, I'm going to go 2 defensemen here.
Ooh, okay.
I'm trying to balance here guys who had really great production, based with some longevity here. So we're going to go with the first pick. He played 280 games, almost a point per game. Great defenseman. We're going to go with Lawrence Nicolat.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Good pick.
Yeah. So we're going to go there, and then that'll give us a little bit of a defensive presence, I think, on the back end.
For sure.
And then we're going to flip it and go a defenseman who played a few less games but was over a point per game in his time with the Broncos. We're going to go with Brent Bilodeau.
That's a great pick.
Yeah,
Love
good
it.
pick.
Only one of 3 defensemen to be over a point
Right.
per game in his career.
But that was going to be – that might have been my first rounder had Danny Lambert not been available. Like, that's a great pick.
I love that
Bilodeau,
pick.
Just a horse on that 93 championship team.
There you go.
This team will score. I've put together a team that will put the puck in the net.
Comes back to me again, doesn't it? It does come back to me.
Yeah.
You're up.
I still need another defenseman. Sorry, I'm running double duty here, so
And you're doing a great job.
Yeah, we're really proud of you.
Attaboy. Yeah.
I was going to say no excuses, just
no
results.
no excuses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, Maddie.
So I still need another forward, another defenseman, and I still need my coach. I'm going to go my other defenseman. And based on my research, Swites, you can tell me otherwise, he's the only Swift Current Bronco available in this draft that has won Defenseman of the Year.
Oh.
In the WHL, that is. That is Michael Roosevelt.
Michael Roosevelt. Good pick.
So I think the award speaks for itself, but also I think we all watched him a little bit in the NHL and was solid at both ends of the ice. So that's where I'm going to go.
Okay. I, looking at my team, I'm going to need some size.
Oh, okay.
We got Andy Schneider, not a big guy. Sheldon Kennedy would kill you with speed. Picks gives us a bit of a presence. But up front, I think we're going to need a little bit of meat and a little bit of grit to play with Shelley and Schneider. So I'm going to go with member of the team, early to mid-90s, Brad Larson.
I like
Hey.
that, yeah. Was that one of your picks
pick.
there?
Well, no, I quite honestly forgot about Larson a little bit until
Played
you
World
said his name.
Juniors
Yeah.
back in the day.
There you go.
Now with he coached head coach in the NHL for a short time and been an executive for a while. And all-time team. He kind of came in the aftermath, like as things were rebuilding after that '93 year, but got the team through some tough times. Big guy, but could certainly put the puck in the net and was a World Junior guy too. So, Brad Larson.
So many guys that a person forgets about on this on the squad here from 86 up. Another great pick, Swites.
Yeah. Clint, you're up here and need another defenseman
Well,
and a goalie.
I'm ready here. I think I'm going to go off the map a little bit here on my defenseman, but I want winners on this team. And I'm going to go with Darren Kruger.
Nice pick. Nice pick.
Memorial Cup champion, played a lot of heavy minutes, 97 points, 89 in the regular season, and he's a winner and a great companion for Bob Wilkie on the back end.
You got the two guys who assisted on the Memorial Cup winning goal.
There you go.
And I had the game, and I don't have any forwards left, but that was one of my top picks, was the scorer of that goal, because he did have an excellent season. So
Okay.
Yep.
Clint, you've got back-to-backs here, so you got another pick. Still need your goalie and your coach, but you have your active player already.
Well, this was a little bit scripted. I want to take I'm going to take the Kruger brothers back to back.
Oh!
I'm taking Trevor Kruger in net.
Yep.
And I see Schweitzer's a little upset about that, but there's a lot of reasons why. He's a champion. He played a pile of games. Was a Can West MVP too with Lethbridge. They won their first championship with him, and just a winner. And stats back in the day were different than they are now. But if you wanted to win, it was kind of the Grant Fuhr effect, where Trevor Kruger gets you the win.
Well, and I always the thing with Trevor Kruger, I think his goals against average was around 5, but those were Swift Current Bronco teams that won like the 7-6 games, and the thing with Kruger, and he did it in the Memorial Cup final. If you watch it, he would always make the save.
Yeah.
Like he'd make that difference-making save. So that's a great pick. And I was actually fired up to take Trevor Kruger with my next pick, which I'm about to do here. I got to do a goalie. So, well, shucks. I guess I'll just have to go plan B and pick Stuart Skinner.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's a close second, I think, Swites. That's a good pick.
That's a great pick. I don't want to. But the longevity, he only played, part of the season, right?
And won a championship. Won a championship.
Got to be some marks taken away there.
Yeah, the longevity factor,
I want to put this out there, though.
Okay.
Logan Fliddell came in and won a pile of games to start and almost single-handedly took the Broncos to 6 games. Would it have been different if Fliddell was in? And Skinner
Interesting.
was out?
Both very good goaltenders,
Great goaltenders
at the time. Yeah.
And Fliddell outplayed Skinner in the Lethbridge series.
Clint's poking holes.
Wow.
Wow. It just, I always wanted to ask a guy like you.
Okay, hindsight's 20/20, right? But
Definitely.
at the time, Logan Fliddell had never played a playoff game.
Yes.
And Stuart Skinner had.
Yes.
And so the organization knew that Stuart Skinner had, playoff experience and that he was good in a postseason setting. So, I mean, hindsight's 20/20, maybe knowing how it would have turned out, you don't. But, I mean, Stuart Skinner, I think if we have anyone else in net, we don't win that Regina series.
That's fair.
And how catastrophic would that have been for the organization?
Yeah, definitely.
Because Stu locked it down in Game 7 against Regina.
Yeah.
So
Fair.
I think anyone else in net, we're not getting out of round 1. So, and Stuart Skinner, my goalie. I know
Maybe the most controversial pick so far.
Hey, we're trooper. We're here for a good time, not a long time.
Yeah, that's fair.
I can sleep at night now that it's been broken down for me.
That leaves me
after 7 years.
in round 6 here with needing my active player and a forward. I think you guys can see where I am going with this. There were a few guys that I had in mind as the forward active player, but I think when all is said and done, he's probably going to be near the top in total points as a Bronco. Health taken into account. Give me Matt Ward.
Wardo.
Some tough times for this organization when Matty was young, but now I think he's a key piece to this team. He's over a point per game through his whole career. He's been right around that point per game since he started in the hub. I think he goes down as one of the best Broncos of this incarnation of the team. So there's my active player and my third forward. I've got some guys who can put the puck in the net.
Wow.
Yeah. Is that not where
This is awkward now.
Were you going to go there? Or
No, I've got 3 forwards. I've planned
You're going
this out.
active here.
I'm going active player, and I'm going goalie.
Wow. Okay.
Oh,
Now, he has been, this year, going into this year, he had obviously been a part of some teams that didn't win a ton of games, developed through the years. This year, he's taken control of the net.
Yeah.
Been absolutely fantastic. Obviously a little banged up right now, but I fully expect him to come back right after Christmas, sometime in the new year here, and take us down the stretch and hopefully backbone us, on a long playoff run here. He's from Manitoba, so really close to my heart there. A good Manitoba boy. I'm going to go with Reed Dick.
There you go. The active. So
pick.
we went. Each position had an active player drafted. So there you go. There's the fun fact of this draft for you. Now everybody needs a coach, and
I get to start that
you get to start with that. And I think I know where you're going to go with this, but you give her.
I am. You know what? I look back at that 2018 run and the culture that had been built through the years. It's hard to ignore, that culture that had been built. So I'm going to go with Manny Viveros there. Obviously won the WHL championship in 2018, and that's a massive accomplishment and a testament to him and the culture he built. So I feel very confident with him leading this group that I've assembled.
Okay, that gives me the next coach, and there's a few different ways to go with this one. I've gone back and forth with this one a few times. I'm going to take Todd McClellan.
Yep.
I think when you look at the accolades, executive of the year, coach of the year, never missed the playoffs and never had less than 31 wins in a season. So I think that speaks for itself. And that's where I'm going to go with my coach. And I fully believe that he will get this team to where we need to go.
Well, my coach, and you look back on that 2018 championship team, and you took the guy who was behind the bench for it, but I'm looking at the coach and the general manager leading up to it.
I knew you were going to go there.
I knew
who
it.
who built that team. And honestly, I'm a Swift Current Bronco fan first and foremost, but I like looking at the other conference standings and seeing where Prince George is right now, because this is one of the hardest working guys in hockey. He's a great coach. He was a phenomenal GM, and he's a great human being. Mark Lamb is the guy coaching this squad.
Got a pretty good PG team right now.
Yep.
Yeah, and he's done great things everywhere he's been. And like you said, it was a rebuild coming in and did a lot of the footwork for that 2018 team. 2018 team.
There you go.
He
Why
laid,
can I
he
not
laid the
say that?
foundation,
Laid the
gave us a
foundation.
cupboard full of assets
Definitely.
to go out and get the
Definitely.
guys that we needed to. So
And it's tough coaching GM, and that's Todd McClellan coaching GM too, right? And Manny Vivros.
Yeah.
So they built their own teams. Well, it doesn't leave much. There's not a lot of coaches left for me to pick, but some great guys. I'm just going to go off the board here. I'm going to go with Brad McEwen.
Wow.
well,
That may give you the current fan.
I think I know somebody who might think he's a great,
Yeah,
a great
I would think so,
hockey
too.
guy. So that's my pick.
Maybe he can be your team ambassador. Hey,
There we go.
maybe Terrace
There we
can be your ambassador for this team. But that is the draft.
I want to add one more thing.
'Kay.
All right. What uniforms are all your teams wearing?
Oh, okay.
Oh, I like
boy.
it.
What unis are you guys
Clint,
wearing?
we'll give Clint the first pick on this one.
Any Bronco jersey sense. Yeah, we can go 4-3-2-1 on this one.
Yeah, there you go.
Any Bronco jersey.
You know what? I am honestly going to pick the B jersey that we currently wear, the third jersey, the
greens?
green B. I love
That's
that.
what
Well, I
was
stole
gonna
some
pick.
picks from you. You
Absolutely.
just stole
Oh,
one
did
from
I?
me, you son of a...
Sorry about that,
No,
Switzy.
it's all good.
Good minds think alike, eh? But
Yeah.
I love that. I love that jersey. I love the bold green. It's got a little bit of everything. It's got the history of the B, the
Yeah.
early SJ team, and I love it. Looks great.
Okay. All right.
Okay, well,
Swites?
you know what? I'll still happily go for nostalgia here, and I'll go back to the 1986 Blues. The original ones, which are very similar to today's
Hey,
Blues.
yeah.
They got the older logo. Broncos is written in green, and it's just a little bit of a different font. But
Okay.
but yeah, you know, when you look at the guys that I have on this team, then yeah, I'm cool with that. The 86 Blues.
Yeah, your team will look good in that jersey.
I could go basic and go current blues because those are very nice. I could go current whites. Those are also very nice. But give me the Lake Diefenbaker Slew Shark blacks.
Oh,
Nice. Man,
Give
good
me
call.
those as my jersey.
Good pick.
Yeah, that's my pick. Give me Slew Sharks in black as my jersey, and I'll try and add this into the draft so that we can.
Yeah, if you're doing graphics.
Yes,
then-
exactly.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Well, and give yourselves a lot of credit, especially Switzy, for doing such a great job in Lake Diefenbaker Slew Sharks. That whole night was amazing. Jerseys looked
Yeah.
amazing. Everything on the board looked great. It was just one unbelievable night. I was glad to be a part of it.
Yeah, it was a good
Excellent
time.
all around.
Adam
guys
gets
are-
the last pick of the draft.
Team
jersey.
Really putting me on the spot here. So I'm going to shamelessly plug our new jerseys that we're going to be unveiling.
Hey.
If
Or
you're
that
not-
when this airs, they will be unveiled already.
Okay, that's a good point.
You're going
so,
with the cream colored. Yeah, those are
So
sick.
I'm going to go with our new creams. I was going to plug this game. Tune in WHL Live Friday night. We're playing Edmonton. By the time this airs, will that be before the game or after?
It will be after the game.
So you will have seen it, hopefully. Hopefully you will have
Yes.
seen us go win a game in the creams in Edmonton. But, yeah, we're going to go with the creams. I just saw them. They look great. I think you guys just did the production day with them.
Yeah.
Got everyone their headshots and whatnot in them. So they look great. I'm excited to see the boys wear them Friday night and hopefully play a solid game and take home a win in Edmonton.
That's
All
interesting.
right. And am I the only one who hasn't seen them in the group here?
Yes,
I believe
after
so, yes.
after we go off air here, we'll show you.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you have to keep it,
On the DL.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, when this airs, it won't
Just
matter
a
anymore. but-
mental picture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's go through the draft as it was.
Yep.
Who has what? Adam had the first overall pick of this draft, the first incarnation of the Christmas all-time Broncos draft. He started with Joe Sakic in the first, Jason Krawalik in the second, Alexi Heponiemi in the third, filling out the forwards. Defenseman Lawrence Nicolat, Brent Bilodeau, and then in goal, Reed Dick is his active player. And then Manny Vivros is his
I
coach.
love that squad. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I think.
And then
Yeah,
the cre-
you
and then the
did
creams.
good,
Right,
actually.
yeah, that's a solid. Yeah.
You did pretty good.
Adam, quick thoughts on your team? Just
Well,
What
I
you think?
think, well, first of all, obviously, I had to bring a little bit of an analytics background to this.
Fair,
So I was
yeah.
going by points per game for the most part, trying to get some high production.
Okay.
We're going to be a fast-paced team.
Yeah.
We're going to attack and transition off the rush. We're going to stretch the ice. We've got a couple puck movers on the back end. We've got a goalie who is extremely athletic and plays a puck really well as well, and then a coach that obviously has a winning pedigree and won in 2018. So I'm very comfortable with the team that I have. I think we're going to score a lot of goals. And you know what? Watching Heponiemi set up Joe Sakic would be a lot of fun.
That is going to be a lot of fun for sure.
So I'm very pleased.
In the Bronco verses, I guess you could call it, in the alternate universe where all of these players are in their prime, right?
Exactly.
My draft, my first pick, Todd Holt at forward, then Glenn Godden. Went with a goalie, Kyle Moyer, and then Ian White and Michael Roosevelt are my defensemen. Matt Ward is my active player to wrap up my forward group. Todd McClellan, my coach, and the Lake Diefenbaker Slough Shark Blacks as our jersey. I just love the blue line. We're able to keep pucks out of the net with one of the best goalies to play in a Bronco jersey, and two defensemen who are both excellent in their own zone and moving the puck up the ice, and just let Todd Holt, Glenn Godden, and Matt Ward just do their thing in the offensive zone. We're going to score a lot, and we aren't going to give the puck up too much either. So happy with that there. Swites, your team, you went defense first. You went Dan Lambert, and then Andrew Schneider was your first forward. Owen Pickering, your active player to wrap up your D-core. Sheldon Kennedy and Brad Larson at forward to finish that off. Stuart Skinner is your netminder. Mark Lamb, your coach, and the old school 1986 Blues are your jersey.
Yeah, really happy with this team from the goal out.
Yeah.
I think Stuart Skinner, we've seen his ability to lock down big games, and he's going to have to do that, facing Joe Sakic and Alexei Heponiemi on the same team there. But, I feel that when you look back on it, Joe Sakic obviously had the best hockey career, but I still, in my heart of hearts, greatest Swift Current Bronco of all time, Dan Lambert. And, we got some leadership on this team. We got the co-captains of the 1989 Memorial Cup team. You got a very active ingredient in that 1993 championship team. And, just to put some grit on the wing and some size, and a guy who can body check you through the boards. If things get physical, then Brad Larson's there ready to protect his teammates. So, and of course, with Mark Lamb calling the shots, a Stanley Cup winner, I'm liking my chances here. In the 86 Blues, they're going to look sweet too.
There you go.
Yeah, and you talk about success too there, Ryan. Like take Dan Lambert, his success not on the ice but close to it. Mm-hmm. Great off ice presence in the league. Like he's had some successful years in the NHL as an assistant coach. So yeah, you got a great team there.
Well, and also, who do we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4 captains.
Wow,
4 captains on this squad
Okay.
too.
Well,
So there's some character there too.
Yeah.
Maybe
Clint, you're
too many cooks in the kitchen there. A little battle of the will here.
Yeah. Clint, your team looks as such. Josh Filmon was your first pick, your active player to start
Love
your
it.
forwards. Sergei Varlamov and Adam Lowry wraps up your forwards. Bob Wilkie and Darren Kruger on the blue line. The other Kruger, Trevor Kruger, will mind the net for you with Brad McEwen coaching the boys from behind the bench. And your jerseys looking in those sweet green thirds that are currently in rotation with this group. So your thoughts on your group?
Well, obviously, I love my team.
Yeah.
I think I have the best team here. I like.
Don't we all?
Yeah, exactly right. So I like that I upset the Filmon residents. That made me proud. Going no, but honestly, I picked Josh for all the right reasons.
Yeah.
He's a speedy, skilled forward. I like that I have Adam Lowry and Sergei Varlamov up front because I have size, skill, and speed, and Filmon's a combination.
Both
of both.
MVPs in the league too.
Yes,
like
sir.
league MVPs.
Yes.
Wow. So.
And the back end, I've got size, I've got skill and point production from the back end. And Trevor Kruger, I don't think anybody could ever count out Trevor Kruger in big games. He's proven it in his career.
He's an X factor for sure.
We can chat about this quickly. Any guys that were still on your list that didn't get picked that you kind of thought might get taken in this draft?
Oh, lots.
Yeah. I think in net, the one that I'm surprised didn't get taken was Bryce Wandler.
I had him on there.
Yeah, he was goaltender of the year in the dub, so interesting to see him not get picked in nets.
I would have taken Laura Kynan as my goalie if I ended up with an active player, but I had to pivot there.
Yeah, E2 was on my list. A good puck-moving defenseman who I was ready to take if some of the other names were off the board. Colby Sissons
from
the 2018 team.
He was the number one defenseman on a championship team.
Yep.
Right, so
I had Kevin Knopp pretty high up there.
Oh, okay.
Brent Sopel as well.
Yep.
Yep.
Sopel is a good one too. Yeah, I mean,
Up front, I mean, there were some big names. And again, you talk about the history of this team.
Mm-hmm.
Jake DeBrusque, Zach Smith, Dale Weiss,
Colby Cave,
Tyler Steenbergen, Lane Ulmer. Like guys that are on the outside looking in this. Like you could have an all-star team
of guys that didn't get picked.
Like the best guys who didn't get picked, and maybe that would like beat us. Like there's such a history with this team of some great players. So yeah. One guy that I had on mine, and I'm looking at it, and I was thinking, okay, this guy or Brad Larson, and this one would have been a little out there, Scotty Kruger.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Scotty Kruger. As a 19-year-old, he was, at the unfortunate time of his passing in the bus crash, I think he was 1.56 points per game, which puts him around Heppo Niemi. And he was a 19-year-old. He more than likely would have played here as a 20-year-old, and his output probably would have got more and more. Yeah. So he would have been a guy like probably around that 2 points a game mark as a Swift Current Broncos. So I wasn't quite ready to pull the trigger on him, but that was a guy on my list who I was thinking, you know what, like. Yeah. And again, only a handful of games with the team, unfortunately, before his unfortunate passing. But that's probably my biggest what might have been pick.
Yep. And the coach left off is Dean Chenoweth is kind of the big name left off the coaching carousel, I guess you could say. So, obviously.
And I was ready. If Mark Lamb wasn't available, I was ready to take Dino. He was a good coach for our organization. You take guys like Zach Smith and Dale Weiss, who were kind of fringe players in being in the WHL. And a few years under the tutelage of Dean Chenoweth, and they both had several hundred games in the NHL. He brought out the best in some guys. Yeah. So no disrespect to Dino for not getting picked here. He was a great great coach in our organization and a great GM too. Like I think he brought us like Subway Series games, like Canada Russia games to Swift Current. Yeah, like he was able to use some connections, and he was really good for the Broncos when he was here.
Businessman,
absolutely
as well, right? Boys, this was so much fun. This was everything I had hoped it would be when I came up with this idea. I am so glad we did this. Just any final thoughts from you guys?
Oh, it was fun too because like the few days leading into it, we're all talking to each other about it, but we're not tipping our hands on anything. Like we're like, oh yeah, there's someone who I'm kind of thinking about, but it's like there was like kind of an underlying rivalry between the four of us over the past few days leading into it, But I think it worked out well. Like it was fun. Like I got guys that I all appreciated watching, right? Yeah. Like from a fan perspective, going back to the good old days, like being able to draft Dan Lambert in a forum like this, that's cool.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Well, that's why I loved it too. I think everybody on my list I watched live. At one time, and that was big for me too. So
I did not.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
Obviously,
you guys are just kids here. Yeah.
But it meant a lot to me, and I thought it was really neat. I thought that I was trying to stay away from some of the elite prospects list guys that I thought were good, and it kind of warms the heart that everybody else picked up on the same guys and pretty much had the same feel. But guys like Tim Tisdale, Tyler Steenbergen, Jeremy Williams. Those are Reese Scarlett, all guys that I had down that I also watched and were great for this organization. So, this was a lot of fun.
Yeah, this is Adam. Thoughts?
No, this was great. I enjoyed it. I'll give a quick shout out to I got Peter Soberlack on the list from Kamloops, BC. Works at the university I went to.
Yes.
So just had to point that out there. Peter, I'm sorry that I didn't take you. I didn't have the opportunity to, but I got some pretty good players on here. So, this was a ton of fun. Appreciate you guys having me on.
No problem, buddy.
How do we decide who wins?
Well, I guess we didn't mention this at the start of this episode, but what we'll do is we will post the episode and then we will post the lineups on social media. We'll have everybody kind of place their votes and give us their thoughts on it, and we'll kind of have a rough estimate of who had the best team from that.
Twitter poll,
Facebook poll.
Wow.
That type of thing. So we'll maybe have to put a beverage or two on it with this group, and a little competition between the guys.
Well, the podcast is brought to you by Original 16. We'd be kind of remiss if
we didn't shout them out a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
So. I'm kind of wondering if I'm going to get the Filmon vote. If the Filmon family vote will go my way or Adam's way.
Oh,
oh boy. Well, we'll see. If you vote for me, I'll get you something signed by Josh. So.
Fair enough.
For all you listeners out there. I'm not bribing you or anything.
You're a bit of a politician, Weston. I like it.
Yeah, you kind of split the household a little bit. Christmas dinner's going to be a little awkward, I think. Eh?
Yeah.
Stirring the pot since '78.
I was golfing. We were in the simulator last night with Josh, so he was informed last night that he would not be getting taken with the first overall pick. So,
Okay.
So he knows. Like I said,
Did you tell him you were going to try and pick him?
I did, yeah.
Okay.
I would have taken him with the 3rd or 4th pick. I would have gone Sakic, Lambert, and then it would have been Josh 3 or 4. So, Mom, if you're listening,
sorry.
Yeah, Mom, if you're listening,
don't give me years. I would have taken him 3rd or 4th.
Listening, not good enough.
Yeah.
So it was right around where you expected him to go.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I don't know. I thought maybe that he would fall a little bit if there's some. I mean, there's a lot of really good players. So, obviously, and Pickering's a first-round pick, and Matt Ward's put up a lot of points. I thought maybe you guys would reach, but I did kind of anticipate somebody would want to swipe him from me. So
the one active player that I thought may have gotten taken, depending on how things fell, would have been Connor Vidston.
Yeah.
He's been extremely productive ever since he came into the league, too.
I had Gouldy on my active list, too.
Really?
Yep.
He's
been
unreal
unbelievable
lately. Yeah, he's been great.
I almost took Rocha and Net instead of Reed, honestly, just because.
Really?
Well, here's the thing. My thought process was he's 18. He's got, by my Sport Logic numbers, he's over a 900 career save percentage.
Okay.
And he's going to have 2 more years more than likely in the league. So that was my thought process there. I thought by the time it shook out, he might have some pretty darn good numbers in terms of goalies in Bronco history.
You're almost planning it out.
Yeah, that would have been a plan ahead pick. As of right now, obviously, Reed was playing incredible, so went in that direction. I think he's going to be a big part of a good stretch run here, hopefully, for this group. So playing that card.
Book it. We'll do another one of these in about 10 years' time.
Okay.
Yep.
And we'll see how much has changed and who else is in the running for greatest Bronco of all time. But boys, this was so much fun.
It's been emotional, boys.
Yeah, it's been emotional.
You've been listening to Broncos This Week, presented by Original 16.